That's how all my partners roll.
You know what it is. We back
sir.
in the studio. Trash talking with the old heads. We back. We took a little hiatus from the studio.
You gotta hit it, man. Finally, The Rock has come back.
Stop.
To the studio.
We back. You know what I'm saying? You know what time of year it was, though. Graduations. You know what I'm saying? Vacation.
Anniversary.
Bunch of birthdays. All kind of shit. But we back in the studio.
Yeah, now.
We back up in here. Trash talking with the old head.
Let's
you know
get
the
it.
line.
Let's get it.
We say what the hell we want to say.
Yes, sir.
When we want to say it. What up, bro?
What it do? Before I even get started, I just want to say, what's up, Soldier Boy? It's been a long time coming, my boy. We appreciate you holding the fort down, watching this dude Six, keeping Eb and Dante and the fam all protected. But you know what time it is. No excuses. Play like a champion, and surely not them damn Boston Celtics.
JW, what it do, bro?
What's happening? Glad to be back in the studio. Glad to be in front of everybody once again. Chop these dudes up, you know how we do. Why play like a champion? Well, you could be a champion.
Don't do it, bro.
Y'all see it.
This is
Y'all see it.
Don't do it.
Hey, man.
The reigning champions of the NBA right now are the Boston Celtics.
They're eliminated.
It's still somebody else
until somebody beats them. They've been beaten.
They are done.
Until somebody else becomes an NBA champion, we are
So what are you saying, unless the world ends?
If the world ends, then the last NBA champion would be the Boston Celtics.
Man, the world ain't ending. There will be another champion. And it more than likely, we'll get into it. It's going to be them young Thundercats.
Them Thundercats, which I tried to tell everybody before the playoffs, but we'll get into that a little bit.
Man, real quick, before we jump in there. Well, first, go ahead. Let's get up subscriber quotes in. But I got to ask you a question, though.
Go ahead.
This dude ate some damn Takis right before we... We tried to tell him the GOAT of chips is Doritos. What y'all think, man?
It's not.
The GOAT.
It's not.
He tried to say the new Takis are the GOAT of chips.
Are better than any chip I've ever had. Better.
You spicy.
Nachos.
That tells you everything about his taste.
Nachos explosion. Pause.
Yeah.
Nachos explosion. Just try them.
I mean, we ain't talking about this.
We ain't trying to advertise for them. I'm just saying they was the best I've ever.
We might need to get some advertisement dollars on here for damn Takis. Damn Takis. Listen, the Mount Rushmore of chips is Doritos.
Sour cream and onion. Lay's.
Yeah, the Lay's, definitely. Cheddar and sour cream, Ruffles.
Ooh, yeah.
And the Sweet Heat from Golden Flakes.
Sweet Heat barbecue.
I can't knock the Sweet
The
Heat.
GOAT.
They were my favorite until I just had Takis.
That's a good list, man. You can't go wrong.
But if you disagree, let us know in the comments, though. Trash talking with the old heads on
GOAT.
YouTube.
What's on your Mount Rushmore of chips?
What's your Mount Rushmore of chips?
And it better not be no damn Takis.
No damn Takis on there. I'm just telling you, Takis not on there.
If you ain't had them, you can't say it. You got to try them.
It's not on there.
Takis. Hey, a champion would never. A champion would never
eat a damn Taki.
That's spicy, J Dub. That's real spicy.
No, they not spicy. That one not spicy.
That's one of them Diddy chips.
That's a Diddy chip.
That's a Diddy chip.
He had lube.
Take that.
He had dildos.
Oil and Takis.
Baby oil and Takis.
That's all they was cleaning up in the room.
For the replenishment.
Nobody even know what it was. The maid like, what the fuck is this? Takis everywhere, damn it.
Wow, we're going to get sued. Let's go.
But, man, let's get into this basketball, man. You know what we here to discuss today, man. Eastern Conference, man. Game 6.
You slipping on your pimping, dog. You're slipping on your pimping.
What that? I did it.
We got to do the subscribe, man.
I did it already, bro.
He did the subscribe.
He stopped you before you did it.
I did stop you before you did it.
He stopped you before you did it. You didn't do it.
Oh,
you didn't do it.
My bad.
Slipping on your pimping. You're slipping on your pimping, man.
Drinking too much, maybe.
Hey, man. Early this morning.
Trash talking with the old heads, man. YouTube, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate everybody that's done so already, but so we can keep bringing you this content. Trash talking with the old heads. Don't forget the Facebook page as well. You can become a member on the Facebook page. Trash talking with the old heads. Hit us up. We'd be glad to have you. We're glad to hear your comments, man. We will definitely respond to your comments. We appreciate all the support so far.
Old Head Nation.
Old Head Nation in full effect. Eastern Conference Finals.
Let's go.
Game 6 tonight. Haliburton laid an egg. Game 5. Will he bounce back tonight? Who win, G? Who you got?
The yes sirs. The yes sirs will take it to the Knicks tonight and be the Eastern Conference champions for 2025. I believe in them boys. They play with a pep in their step, and if they're able to continue to do that, you knew they was gonna come back with a letdown. Everybody knew. I knew they weren't gonna win Game 5. I knew they weren't gonna win Game 5. Other than one game, it's really been a close series. Mm-hmm. Other than one game, it's really been a close series. And if you look at it, the Knicks had opportunity.
Well,
they blew that opportunity.
I was about to say game one wasn't that close. Yeah, until they blew it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's a close game. It ended up being a close game. And the Pacers, the yes sirs, pulled it off, which I told y'all we was on the phone that day. We was talking during the game. I said, listen, you have to put them boys away. You cannot allow them to stay within 10 to 12 points or they can explode. And that's what they did. It was a choke job too, some of it, but a lot of it was the yes sirs doing what they wanted to do. In the end, hit them threes, get out on the break, and the Knicks folded. When you get that, pressure bust pipes, don't they say pressure bust pipes?
That's what they say.
I got the Pacers winning tonight. It will not be a close game.
What?
It won't be a close game. Cat will not perform like he has the last. You know he's due a egg. You know he's due to lay an egg.
He been balling.
He had been balling. But he gonna get into silly foul trouble.
That's the thing.
Can the Knicks limit them from fact? Can they do what they did in the last game and put pressure on them? I doubt it. Let's go Pacers.
Jerry, you agree?
Yeah. I picked the Pacers to win this series. I got them winning tonight and getting this thing over with. Mainly, like I said from the beginning, style of play. They didn't get to their style of play last game. You hate to see it. The thing I thought was messed up about the last game is we've seen too many games where it looks like the other team is laid down. And Indiana, they made one push. It seemed like they made one push or tried to make a push. And I think what ended it, the Knicks got an offensive rebound and knocked down another tray, and then they called timeout, and that was it. They started taking people out. But I think style of play, the comfort of home, they'll go ahead and get this team out of here. Because, quite frankly, Indiana has looked like the best team in the series from start to finish. So I think they go ahead and get it out. They know how important this game is. They definitely don't want to go back to New York for a Game 7. The Knicks fans, the whole city being there, that might be too much to overcome if that were to happen. So they take this game a hell of a lot more serious and not look at it as we got another game. If we don't win this one, it's okay. Forget that mentality. Go ahead and knock these boys out and get this thing started so we can get to the finals.
I think that's what cost them the game the last time, their mentality. They were like, oh, we got this in the bag. And they come out with the intensity or the emotion that they need, the intensity and the emotion that they needed.
Coach Carlisle
to
pull
that game out. You know what I'm saying? Like, right.
Yeah.
You have to come out with, you know what I'm saying, with purpose, with intention. Even though you got a 3-1 lead and you got the comfort of going back home, you should play like you hungry all the time. And I was disappointed that they didn't play with that type of intensity. But I've seen this team play. We've seen them play throughout the playoffs. And that was really the only game they didn't match intensity.
Yeah, the question for me in the beginning of this game tonight is, can the Knicks match that initial push by the Pacers that you know is coming in this game? You know what I'm saying? Will it get out of hand earlier or will it be a close game? You know
the emotion of the crowd.
Right.
All that.
And you withstand that initial push that you know the Pacers are coming with to start the game. And how do the Pacers respond to the Knicks? Because the Knicks made an adjustment last game, that ball pressure up the court. Mm-hmm. What's the adjustment by the Pacers to get Haliburton going downhill, which is when he's at his best? You know what I'm saying? Because they stopped him from doing that. Well, he kind of gave in to it, I think, in this last game where he was just like, okay, I'm just going to pass the ball and whatever.
Well, you know what
They're at their best when he's going downhill.
Rick Carlisle going to figure it out, what he going to do.
Is he?
Yeah, Rick Carlisle's a good coach.
I don't think he is. I think
You don't think Rick Carlisle's
let me take it back. I think he's a good coach. But what's the adjustment he's going to make to that? Of course, he's probably going to put some screeners.
He's going to put some screeners up.
You know what I'm saying? But then what's the Knicks adjustment? But I think still the Knicks need to come with that same pressure on the ball. I would still do it. Even if they're doing the screening, I would still do that because I think it disrupts the Pacer offense. And they can't play as fast. And in the half court, they're just not that good. They're just not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the advantage that the Knicks have when they do press is that they have some of the best on-ball defenders in the league when you're talking about OG. And
that was the first game where they played the kind of defense everybody yells about when talking about the Knicks.
Right.
That's the first time I've seen
They
it.
hadn't been playing good defense all year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The defense we thought they were going to be, that's the first time I saw it.
That is that's the book on them for the entire season. Why weren't they better defensively?
So you think
Brunson's a big part of that?
The answer to the question is Brunson. You got Brunson and Cat. Neither one of them are big on playing defense, and it was actually their lack of is what canceled out them having OG. And
I think Cat's a good defender. He just does dumb stuff too much. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to fouls, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
grabbing people's arm and then complaining about it.
He's a decent defender against bigs.
Yeah.
But when you get him out there on the perimeter, he's not there. You know what I'm saying? He's not that good at defense.
Right.
I think Brunson gets a bad rap.
No.
It's too. Number one, he's not a traffic cone. He's not just getting blown by. People are using their size against him. People are using their size against him.
Right, but that's part of defense. He's small. That's part of it.
That's part of it. But
that makes him a liability.
Anytime you have a smaller defender, you know what I'm saying? He's big as far as his girth.
But the last game, you saw him trying harder on defense. The effort was there in this last game. You could see it. It was just different. His effort to get through the picks and stuff was just different in the last game. He has to play with that intensity on defense. And I know why maybe he does it. He know in the fourth quarter, I probably got to do everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's been too many times in this series where whoever Cat has defended and whoever Brunson has defended, it's been a bucket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they did a much better job in this last game. Again, the extended pressure is really what kind of stifled everything they need to do. But the adjustment to that is pretty simple. You'll have a higher
screener and let him get downhill. Right.
You'll have a higher screener,
right? And
the ideal screen would be to get Cat to make him switch on a pick. And then you still got Haliburton with the ball trying to get downhill against, one of their poorest defenders. So I think the adjustment is simple. I think the attack needs to be immediate and strong, a lot of runouts. Go ahead and get it over early, do their work early, because Brunson's going to put up some points.
Oh, yeah.
He's a scorer. He's going to put up some points.
I don't think Haliburton will be as terrible as he was in his last game. I think he actually have a good game, but Knicks in 7. Knicks in 7. Knicks withstand that initial rush. Win a close game.
You just trying to hold on to your
win in 7.
To your
it's what I called at the beginning.
Pre-conference pick.
It's what I said finals in the beginning.
Pick.
Knicks in 7.
You don't believe that shit.
Knicks in 7.
You don't believe that shit.
I do. Cat has found himself against this team.
Oh,
no, against this team. He knows what he can do. They can't stop him. They have nothing to stop him with. He knows he can dominate this team. He'll do it again tonight. He'll score his 25, 26 points, which is all Brunson needs, is some help. They win the game. They withstand the initial pressure. Knicks in 7. Knicks go back home.
This is the problem with Cat. When the situation is more pressurized,
fourth quarter the other night was not the case.
You depending on Mr. Zesty.
Is out of here.
I know.
To uphold your pick.
Man, get a man his credit, though. The man been balling.
He's
for
a talented player. He always.
And after all that, he will do what he normally does. Fuck up.
He can put up 25 and 11, but
and that's all Brunson gonna need to do.
He's gonna make some bad decisions. He's gonna take some terrible shots.
As long as he does not get in foul trouble early in the first quarter, Knicks win this game.
You can guarantee
Knicks win this.
Everything that can go wrong with his effort will.
Knicks in 7. I'm calling it right now. Knicks in 7. Like I said,
Only thing good about you saying Knicks in 7 is if it does go 7, we get more basketball before it's all over and ain't shit on but baseball. So that's the only thing good about yourself.
I guess the question that I need to ask though, is this now a bona fide rivalry again? Knicks Pacers. Is it living up to the old 90s rivalries? Is it a rivalry again for real? Played last year, played this year. Tough series. Of course, Knicks, I think.
It's a renewal. I think it's a renewal of this rivalry. Of course, it's impossible to have the vitriol
of the previous generation.
Right, because of the physicality of the game or the lack thereof.
They allow them to be a little bit more physical this playoffs.
Come on,
don't you see? Like usually in the playoffs they allow you, but this
from the beginning of the playoffs you saw it. The officiating was get you.
Nobody
except
can
for OKC.
Nobody.
Stop.
Because listen, man,
yeah, that man is crazy.
No.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Nobody can argue. Nobody can argue that yes, they have allowed them to play a little bit more as it pertains to the physicality. But please, let's not get it misconstrued. It is in no comparison of what we lived through in the 80s and 90s when we had where it was kind of equal, where you could put some defensive force up against what the
they started removing
but I think this is as close as you're going to get to it in today's basketball.
Right.
This is as close as you're going to get to it. They don't want the fighting and swinging on each other.
They don't want the 85 to 79 games.
Right. They don't want that.
Nobody want to see that shit.
I think they can live with 102 to 100.
I like it just like they allowed in the beginning of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm okay with that.
I can't say that they, you know what I'm saying, they adjusted and started calling more fouls.
Right.
I like it how it is.
Yeah, I don't want clotheslines that don't get called.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want that.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So to finish my point, it's not the and the physicality equivalence. That's not even what renews the rivalry for me. The thing that renews the rivalry for me is that Indiana is still thought of as the lesser team in the series. Back when Reggie was playing, they were considered the lesser team.
Not now though.
Huh?
Most of the talking heads are saying that the Pacers are the better team.
Now we've seen them play. I'm saying if you go back, everybody was leaning, not me, but everybody started leaning toward the Knicks. Everybody wanted to see the Knicks.
At the beginning of the season.
Everybody, no.
They've been quietly, since like January, they've been quietly under the radar when nobody was talking about them for real. You know
and the Knicks
lost. Because the
Knicks lost their steam headed into the playoffs because they had not beaten any of the top teams. They didn't win one game in the regular season against Boston, Cleveland, or OKC. So that's why they started losing some steam. So their fans,
the top teams were Cleveland and OKC.
Because you're talking about the three best teams in the league.
Right.
The three best teams in the league with those three teams.
And the Cavs.
The Cavs, Boston, and OKC. Those are the three teams. So they didn't win any of those games. So then the Knicks come back and they beat my Celtics.
They didn't beat Denver or LA either.
They beat them in the second round, and that's when, of course, Knicks Nation and everybody started looking towards the Knicks. They started having higher expectations, thinking they could make it to the finals.
The Knicks didn't get the high expectations until they beat y'all ass.
The Pacers were still not considered
because they barely beat the Pistons.
Right.
They barely beat the Pistons.
So that's what makes it a rivalry for me. They were still considered the lesser team, and they've.
Why would that make it a rivalry, though? Why would that make it a rivalry?
Well, because the fans didn't think that that the Pacers would lose to the Knicks last season, and they did. The Pacers beat them.
For me, it's because the main participants are still there. The superstars, the same superstars on both teams. You know what I'm saying? Haliburton's still there from last year. Brunson's still there. So it's the same kind of cast of characters.
Still there.
Right. Same cast of characters again.
The Knicks added
a second
Mikal Bridges.
Right.
And,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
And Cat trade. But as far as Brunson, Haliburton, they're still there. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's we get to see the same people another year going at it again.
Is it just because it's the Knicks and the Pacers that is a rivalry? Because I don't think there's a lot of animosity between the two organizations. We haven't seen a lot of dirty play. That's what makes a rivalry to me, where it gets real.
No.
It's a lot of animosity.
No.
That's what makes it a rivalry, where it's intense.
No.
There's hard fouls.
See, to me,
there's some
intensity
dust-ups.
level is. I agree with the intensity part, but I don't think it has to be a lot of animosity.
The competition.
The competition, it's got to be there for me.
Okay, well, shit.
And some animosity, a little bit, but I think there is a little bit with these two teams.
That's like saying Cleveland and Golden State are rivals.
They are, because they met in the finals so many times.
But see, that was a finals rivalry. If you meet in the finals every year, you got to be a rivalry.
That made them a rivalry.
It's got to be. If you meet in the finals,
right? But I'm saying so now, even now, so from now, are they still rivals?
No, not anymore, because LeBron is not in Cleveland. If he was still in Cleveland, you could consider it a rivalry. But of course, he jumped ship like he always do. So that's not.
So how, again, to me, a rivalry has to include some animosity. There has to be, the only way that it is a rivalry is
with the whole choke thing. You don't think there was?
I think that brought some intensity.
That's what I'm saying. I think
it brought some intensity.
There is a lot of dislike between the two.
I don't see it on the court.
It's just not on the level of the '90s. They don't do it the same way.
I would like to see that level. I want to see some dust ups. Some pushing and shoving.
But like you said, like Cat, some of these dudes are a little soft. They don't really do that. You know what I'm saying? They don't really do a lot of that.
What we have,
you have some.
But you got Cat. But see, like Cat, you got him flexing the other night. You know what I'm saying? Out of character for him. He don't do a lot of that, but he did against this team because I think there is a little animosity. They don't like each other. He do look a little crazy, but
every time he do.
Yeah, but I think there is some. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the way we used to seeing it with the pushing and shoving and all that.
You want to see that when you want to talk about rivalries. Like you can consider it a rivalry, but when you're talking about the great rivalries of the past. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about your Boston and LA.
But they were built because you see each other year after year. That's what built it. Because you see each other every year.
This is the second year. You can't say year after year. And then the two teams have not been really good before the last 2 years.
Well, but they've been about the same though. They've been about the same in the seedings coming up.
Right.
They've been about they've
had opportunities. They weren't like, they ain't no way they can win. And they could win. You know what I'm saying? They were there last year. They could have won. If Brunson hadn't got hurt, they could have won. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they could have gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals, but was they going to beat Boston last year?
Who knows? You don't know.
They weren't going to beat Boston last year. They was injured.
I don't.
They were injured.
If they were not injured, I think they could have.
Right. The thing that we have other than the two franchises,
they've been frauds
since 2000.
They just got luckier last year. Lucky ass frauds. You know what I'm saying?
Other than
how long they gonna milk this championship? That's what we need to get into.
20 more years.
They gonna milk their last championship. He's still milking it now. Talking about
why play like a champion when you gonna be a champion?
No, I'm talking about this last statement. Talking about we still the champions.
That's what I'm saying.
Man,
like you nice. You already got beat.
You're done.
You over.
You're dead.
Thunder the new champions.
we have
crown their ass.
We have the renewed rivalry.
It's a rivalry. I agree.
You got these two franchises, these two historical.
And looking forward, they still gonna be good.
They haven't had a championship. Indiana hadn't had a championship since the ABA. New York hadn't had a championship since the 70s.
73.
So in that sense, it's a renewed rivalry. You got two of the best point guards in the league going at one another. You got
don't mess around and throw Giannis in the Knicks next year.
You got two stretch five centers going up against one another. It's almost just like the teams are kind of built the same. Back in the day, in the 90s, you had the Pacers and the Knicks. Those two teams were built the same. They had the big bodies for the screens. And as far as the big men, and then they had the guards or shooting the trays or whatever with Reggie. Reggie was the superstar. Of course, Pat was the biggest superstar. So these teams right here kind of built the same, but you got two different styles of play. The main problem with the Knicks is they get lullabied into playing as fast as the Pacers, and that's when they fail. So as long as they don't get lullabied into playing the way that the Pacers play, they'll be fine and we'll have a good game. But I'm expecting a blowout. I really am. I'm expecting the lead to be too great for New York, but they'll stay in the game, of course.
And like I said, it's all about that initial push. Can they withstand that initial push? If they do, the Knicks win.
Can you stand the rain?
Good to see
Yep.
it. So we got one more rivalry in the league.
No doubt. No
On
doubt.
my window.
So that's it for the East, man. Let's
Can
pivot to
you
the
stand
Wild
the
Wild
rain?
West, where them damn Timberwolves, one of
The
y'all
Wild
picked,
Wild West.
turned into
Wild
puppies or
Wild
whatever
West.
you call baby
Timber
wolves.
pump.
The Wild Wild West.
Whatever you call baby wolves, that's what they turned into.
I used to go downtown, 129th Street. Y'all remember that cool Mo D,
yes,
baby?
I do.
That hen dog on him, y'all gotta watch it.
Your boy
This ain't
Ants.
Hennessy. This is Uncle Nearest.
I'm on the hen dog, my bad.
So your boy Ants. Let's talk about it, man.
Well,
We got differences of opinion throughout the media on whether or not he choked or whatever. Some say yes, some say no. I guess my question is though, being only 23, I mean, how much blame should he be getting? You know what I'm saying? What amount of blame should we be getting? I've been seeing a lot of vitriol thrown his way, you know what I'm saying? Because people were calling him the, quote, next face of the league or whatever.
the face.
So, Jerry, man, so really, where you at with that whole Ant thing, man? Should he get a pass? Got this team that I don't think any of us picked to be in the Western Conference Finals. To the Western Conference Finals.
Who?
At the beginning of the year, I don't think we said they were going.
Shit.
After that trade for Julius Randle, when we talked about it, none
Oh,
of
you're
us.
talking about the Timberwolves. I thought you said that.
No,
Okay, so my bad. I missed because
Timberwolves.
I remember vividly.
Yeah, I picked
the
Thunder.
conversation.
Yeah, I picked the Thunder.
Well, you did. I'm
Yeah.
talking about when before the playoffs or around this round. I don't know if you picked
Oh,
it
okay.
before the playoffs.
I did.
All right. So I know at the beginning of the season when we was talking about who can compete with the Celtics.
That's
And I said
pre-trade.
OKC. No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking-
Oh, you're talking about before the season. No,
I just want to bring that
we
up.
ain't gonna be doing this.
Yeah,
shit,
we
y'all.
is.
We not
Yeah,
gonna be doing
yes,
this the rest
we
of the
is.
season, man. I'm
Yes.
not gonna be sitting and listen to this.
Yes, the fuck we is. We gonna be listening to this shit. Cause the way that you talked about them Celtics deserves to be analyzed
My team.
for sanity
My
purposes.
Team, my team.
Yeah. And I want you to realize it was your team and the way how inconsistent your arguments are. When we talk about debate, you claim objectivity and you know you're not. So stop doing that.
To answer the question about Ant,
He picked. I said okay. So hold on. I said OKC would be one of the contenders, and you laughed. You scoffed at that. So I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't tell you I was gonna say that last night, but I did have it. I did.
Are you through, dog? Are you through?
Are you finished or you done?
Exactly. So
What you got?
Was a respect on Ant name. Okay, so it's hard to give him a pass because he's the best player on his team. So he's considered the leader of his team. His age, the success he's had at such a young age of taking over this team, because we really looking at last year where he took over the team. You know, he was constantly pushing that responsibility over to Cat when he first got into the league, but he clearly took the team over last year. So the last 2 years, he's been the best player on the team and the franchise player on this particular team. I can't give him a pass, and I was talking about it through the whole playoffs. Even when we first started the playoffs, I asked the question, "What are the Timberwolves' identity?" Nobody had an answer for me. We still don't have an answer. They went to the this era's way of playing style. They went to jacking more tray balls this year. Totally cut out Anthony Edwards' mid-range game. Y'all forgive me. I used to call him A2K. I let that go now. Ant-Man, like I said in my post, Ant-Man is fitting when we talk about how small he's been in the playoffs this year. So I'm gonna leave him at Ant-Man. So
Ant-Man, I call him Ain't-Man or Ain't That Man.
that's fitting too. But they never looked like the team from last year all season to me. Ant never played like he looked unstoppable last year, which is why you had some nut jobs out there throwing out the MJ
So in the end, they
name
were better
around.
with Cat.
I don't know if he looked unstoppable. I mean, if
So in the end,
He
they were
looked unstoppable last
so in the
year.
end,
until they played Dallas.
So in the end, they were better with Cat, like I said.
But to that point, G, were you saying until they played Dallas? But we weren't saying that Edwards just didn't get his game off like we saw him do this year. It wasn't that. They were saying that they were tired. That was the thing that was being said. They look exhausted out there. They had nothing left. They gave it all in the last series. That was the message. It wasn't that
I don't
he's
remember
not
that.
playing the same. That's what it was. The message wasn't that
Luka was just they didn't have nobody to stop Luka.
He looks he looks this, he looks that, or he doesn't look the same. He did not play the same all playoffs to me. That mid-range game was null and void. Last year, he was even catching it in the post sometime. We saw him using the fadeaway in the post. Last year, we saw none of that this year.
Three baller to the hoop.
That's
today's NBA, and that's what he switched over to.
And to me, that made him easier to defend. He's been deferring in the post-game press conferences saying he made the right play and all this crap. Okay, yeah, maybe you did make the right play on a lot of those, but you also limited your effectiveness. Yeah, you also limited your effectiveness and allowed the team to be able to stop you more. So they got a lot of things they got to get into. But as far as Ant, yeah, I placed the blame on him.
I do remember him saying he was exhausted last year. So, and this is a recurring theme because if you look at his numbers in the first round last year. He was over 30 points except for one game. The final game, he scored 40. Last year, KD, the Denver series scored 40 points twice, was in the 20s a couple times, 27 points. And then when you get to the Dallas series, didn't score over 30 points one game. Didn't score over 30 points one game, and a couple of the games were within range for them to win.
Yeah, but you also got to put the succession of teams that you're playing too. You're always gonna play a worse team in the first round.
I think Dallas was not a good team last year. They were not a great team.
Dallas took off after the All-Star game.
They had a way of playing that was good, but they weren't. They weren't unstoppable.
Right.
Yeah, but it was
Denver was probably
Luka was just on one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Luka was on one.
Well, hold on.
Luka and them bigs was on one.
They was on one.
But
and Kyrie was on one.
But the thing that they were doing also defensively helped them because they went with the two bigs.
Yeah, the bigs.
Defense.
They found a system with Luka that worked,
as well as they helped.
They could neutralize Gobert.
They unlocked the old boy.
Rebounding.
They unlocked the old boy they got from Charlotte as far as defensive.
PJ Washington.
PJ Washington became their best perimeter defender, and having the two bigs and him that kind of helped them be able to defend the Timberwolves because they were softer last year. I'm just gonna say it. They were softer to me last year with Cat in the fold. So that's
softer
to me.
than with Julius Randle.
Julius Randle ain't soft.
He ain't soft, but the way he plays a lot of times is soft.
He's bad on defense for sure.
Right. I'm like,
but his style of play.
Call it whatever adjective you want. They're a worse team with Julius Randle. You can call it whatever. You can put whatever adjective on it.
They got to the same place they did last year with Julius Randle.
They
got to the finals.
With Cat.
Conference finals. You were
pumping up
because I give him credit. He played well in the previous series. He played very well.
He was playing the most consistent. He was.
But then he turned back, like Greg would say, he turned back into a pumpkin.
That was against sorry-ass Golden State.
He turned back into a pumpkin. I mean, how much you put on Ant?
I put a lot of it on Ant. I put a lot of it now. As far as, the criticism that he's probably going to get, I don't know if this, is going to be sufficient. It's going to be enough to, let me not say enough. I'm going to say he's going to get more criticism than he deserves because he's only 23, and that's it. As far as his game, he should have enough game to be better. I ain't saying that they should have won.
You saying because of his ability.
His game. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying they should have won, America. I'm just saying that he played like trash. He was on lockdown, for real. He was on lock. He didn't even want the ball, it seemed, at times. Or he didn't want it enough to where, okay, my team needs me to get buckets.
The Thunder's strength is their perimeter defense.
Yeah, I think he was too willing to give in to the defense. To give in.
And to Jared's point, he has brought it up, I think the last time we talked about Ant, he abandoned his mid-range game. I was surprised you didn't bring it up, but he did.
I did.
He used to be a 3-level scorer.
He said it.
And this year he's He's close to averaging 8 to 10 3 attempts a game.
Yep.
And you know what I'm saying? I don't know
What was he last year?
and it seemed like just
What was the jump?
he was shooting like
3 more.
Yeah, he was shooting like 5 or 6 last year.
Right.
And I remember this statement. I can't remember the exact quote, but you know, during the summer, he said that working out with Steph and LeBron, you know what I'm saying, and working out with Steph, he said he was hitting as much as Steph was hitting.
Right.
At 3. So he felt like, you know what I'm saying, he can improve his 3-point shooting.
Which is fine, but I don't, like I said, my thing, I guess I differ a little bit with y'all. I guess it depends on how you look at the question. For me, the expectations are too much for a 23-year-old to get
The
that
type
much.
of criticism.
Yeah, that kind of.
Nah.
No, it is, because you have to look at
So what are you
at,
saying
by
from a
23,
face of
by
the
20,
league type?
by expecting him to have had to get to the finals by now. Who did it at 23
Again,
other than Magic?
That's why I say I don't blame him
That's what I'm
for
saying.
losing
He's 23.
not winning this series.
Or even if you look
I'm
at the
talking
amount of
about
years in the league,
Dante,
it's the
but
fifth one.
You can't give
How
him
many have won by the fifth year?
Dante, you can't give him a pass for the way that he played.
There are a few, maybe 3 players.
Right, 3. We looking at 3 players.
Yeah,
Magic,
we
Bird.
talked about that, and I get that. I'm not talking about, and again, I'm not giving him criticism for losing. I'm giving him the criticism for the way he played.
I get you. Now, that may be the only thing I would criticize him for, because this is, for me, coming out of his mouth, where he said sometimes DiVincenzo has to tell me what's going on as far as what the defense is doing. Now that piece of it, because he hadn't gotten that yet.
You can tell that he struggles with
sometimes
his basketball IQ.
Hey, but look at it like this though. That's a good point. But I look at it like this. Sometimes when you're playing, you can't
see the field. That's basketball IQ.
And it takes somebody from the sideline, whether it's a coach or a player, to see it. And it's reminded me of when I played high school, and in my senior year, my coach started specifically asking me to sit next to him. I didn't understand this shit. I was scared as hell of my head coach, even in my senior year. But he used to have me sit with him, and it took me a couple of games to realize that he was wanting me to see what he was seeing. So out of his complaints, as well as coaching going through, I had to pick up what was going on, so when I go in, I can add what he's saying. It took me a while to see that, but sometimes when you're playing, you can't see it. And I'm not going to count it against the IQ. I just think it's another step that he has to learn when he gets to the point where he's seen every defense. He just hadn't seen everything. And then if he's still getting the help to help him break through it, then he hadn't applied it as much. So I think he'll get there, but that's just something that happens when you play.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I just think it's early. Everybody tried to put it on him too quick.
The face of the league. Yeah, that part I agree with. We shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying, criticizing him to that extent. And he's going to get it. Because everybody, the media has...
Because of his flashy game.
Right, the media,
they want him
charisma,
to be it.
They want him to be it. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, when we get into the face of the league discussion, you know what I'm saying, there are players that have some of those things, but not all of them. But their only knock is that they're not from the United States. So we have to maybe, you know what I'm saying, at some point kind of get over that hump. But as it relates to the criticism that he deserves now should be on the way that he played. Because if you look back at game 4, the rest of the team balled outside of Julius Randle. They still could have won with Julius Randle being as ineffective as he was, had Ant been better. They could have won.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It still could have been a series. They could have been playing last night for probably the 6th game or the 7th game or whatever. But yeah, he played terribly, man. And again, this is just it's 2 years in a row where you look at it. Now his numbers last year was much better than this year from the consistency standpoint. At least he was scoring in the 20s, 25 to 29 points a game. This year, he had 2 games where he was in the 30s, and then the rest of the games he was below 20 points. For his caliber of player, you can't let Caruso and Dort do that to you.
But I guess my thing is
Caruso and Dort
at the beginning of the year
had him on locks.
Well, let me take
locks. He was clank.
None of us had
straight
him going to the Western Conference Final. I think we have to take that into consideration. We didn't think that much of this team when they made that trade. None of us would have picked them to go to the Western Conference.
So you want to give him more?
Right. He's gotten to back-to-back, at this age, back-to-back Western Conference Finals. That's something. That's a lot.
It
know
is.
What I'm saying? And if you look at it historically, that's a lot to do by the age of 23. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And you have to give him credit for that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm
Hold on. Now, y'all don't
credit for that.
Y'all don't give Bron no credit for losing at 22 in the finals.
I don't even talk about Bron in the finals at 22.
Why do we do that?
Shit.
I do not.
Why do you keep lowering Bron? Bron is supposed to be up here. We should not be bringing Bron
We're
into
talking about a
conversation.
potential face of the league.
We should not be
We're talking about a potential face of the league at 23.
You will never have me bringing Michael Jordan from up here down here to discuss these cats who have not achieved as much as you.
Because
you keep
we're talking about them from the standpoint of at that age. We're not talking about where they ended. We're talking about at that age. Just like we can say that Mike didn't do that at that age. He didn't have his team.
There's no point. There's no correlation.
I get that. I get that.
No
That's why I'm just limited it to him and his game and how the way that he played. Not that they lost. I wouldn't kill him if they lost and he played his game. If he was averaging 28, 29, 30 points a game and was effective. But the rest of the team.
And then you look at might be a historic team that he lost to. You have to take that in. This is a great, so far basketball, this is a great season this team is having. When you look at the defensive numbers, it's a great team.
Yeah, you ain't had a team.
It's hard for me to look at it like that.
You ain't had a team, but
show you how weak this era is.
I want to go back and analyze Mike in his early years losing to the Pistons, and because he had some duds too.
A few.
Yeah, he did.
And he had a whole lot of.
He had one or two games where he was effective, or he was killing, like he was clowning. And then he had a couple of duds. Got it. Go back and look it up. Go back. America, pull up Mike in 89 or 88 against the Pistons. And tell me what you see.
Yeah.
Tell me what you see. We ain't got to do it now.
Right.
But tell me what you see.
But let's change sides to the winning side of the Western Conference Finals. And your boy SGA. Any chance in hell he can be the face of the league? G?
Any chance? Who could be the face of the league? SGA. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He can, but he has no charisma. He's not oozing with, with charisma, dog. And that's going to come from maybe Oklahoma City doing a better job of promoting him getting more commercials. Because his game is fucking fantastic.
Man.
He might be competing with Joker for best player in the world. That's how much I see. And he's young. He's what, 25?
26.
26? His mid-range game, man, is comparable to Mike's. Where he can, where his footwork.
Y'all, stop, man.
Where he can,
stop. Y'all better stop this shit. This is insane. Stop using these players' names with today's. Stop it, dog.
I said his mid-range game is comparable to Mike.
Stop it.
The way he can get his shot off against anybody, and when he shoot that bitch, you believe that it's going in. Am I lying?
Stop, man.
Listen, man, you got to stop making Mike this deity.
Stop.
I love Mike. People, please believe me.
Stop.
Mike is my favorite player. I grew up a Mike fan, and I'm still a Mike fan, but these fucking Jordashians, they ruined the game.
But let's clean
y'all ruined the game, man. I'm not saying that he's Mike. I said his mid-range game is comparable to Mike.
Since we brought that up, I want to go on and get that out of the way. Against the Pistons, 88-89, 29-11, 6 assists, 36-11, 24-7, 23-7-5 with 6 steals.
Go to the points in the game.
That's where I'm at. I'm doing the points.
Not points per game. I'm talking about every game. Look at some of the points. Look at some of them games.
This is game by game.
Okay, go.
That's what I'm doing. Listen. 29, 36, 24, 23, 25, 32, 27, 46, 23, 18, and 32.
Look at the field goal percentage.
All right. 45.5,
Best
64,
team in the
40,
league.
50,
Right.
45.
That's what I'm
34,
saying.
45, 61, 33, and 50.
That's what I'm saying. He had a
And then another 50.
Yeah, one below 40.
he had one below 40.
One below 33%. One below
Two.
40%.
A 34.5 and a 33.
Okay, so two.
He had a bunch of those type of games.
What a bunch at it. He only just mentioned
Let me-
two.
let me
He
put-
still had
I
at least
mean,
23 points. G?
That's 88, 89. I didn't even get into 90 and 91.
Get into 90, 91. Get into all of them.
All right, 90, 34, 20, 47, 42, 22, 29, 31, 22, 35,
Duds.
33, 29.
Duds.
Still ain't no
I'm talking about the playoffs. You looked at
That's every game.
go to the playoffs. That's what I was talking about. The playoff. Pull up
This
the
is Michael
playoffs.
Jordan playoff stats versus Pistons.
Yeah.
That's every game. I just ran them down. That's
And-
every one of them.
And so far, 20 points.
Average 30 points, 48.1% shooting, 6.7
What was
rebounds,
his other numbers in
6.1
that 20 point, that first 20 point game you said? What was his other numbers?
He had 24, 7, and 3.
Michael Jordan had some duds.
Then he had
against the
23, 7, and
Pistons.
5.
Okay,
with
we're
6
getting off
steals.
track. Let's get back to
Just
SGA.
getting it on track now. I mean, his duds look a whole lot better. Just to get that out of the way. But SGA as face of the league, I don't think the NBA wants it. I don't think they want SGA as a Canadian. I don't think they want it. I think people, one, he don't have that it factor. I don't know what that it stuff is. He don't have it. Now, me as a basketball head watching, I love watching him play. I want to watch him play. You know what I'm saying? I like watching SGA play the game of basketball. But I heard somebody on television the other day say, if you got $100, your last 100, do you want to spend it to go watch SGA play basketball? The casual fan, would they spend that last 100 to go watch SGA play?
Why not?
No.
A casual, me and you.
The casual
maybe.
fan not
But a
going
casual fan on the couch,
they not-
no, he don't have that it that makes you say, oh, when he come to Atlanta for us, let me run over here and go watch SGA play basketball.
Right.
The casual fan is not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't have that. I'm not even sure Ant would be that for me if I'm a casual fan. Well, I'm gonna go over, let's say like I said, for us, that's all we can talk about, to drive over to Atlanta or to Memphis or wherever to watch a game. Are you going to watch him play? Maybe if he playing, a team you like, you know what I'm saying, playing against them, maybe. If you like Memphis or if you like the Hawks, maybe. Right. But does he move the needle like that, like a Bron, a Steph, a Jordan?
Not yet. Not
really.
Yet. Not yet.
I don't think he does. You know what I'm saying?
Not yet. I gotta.
Culturally, does he move the needle?
That's hard to say because it's.
I know that's a tough one. I thought about it last night after we spoke.
Yeah, because the culture doesn't mean the same as it did
to everybody, right?
It doesn't mean the same as it did. So
right.
So that's so the only thing I'm gonna push back on is whether or not the league wants.
You think they want SGA to be the face of the league?
Well, it's clear to me that the league.
If he was an African, if he was an American citizen,
I think he would.
He would be in the discussion.
The reason I push back on that is because it's clear to me that the league would like Wemby to be the face of the league. That's just
true.
That's just the feel I get.
But that's coming.
As far as who's going to take it, like Charles Barkley said, you got to take the face.
You got to, right? I agree.
It looks like, and we don't.
It's not given, man. I don't think nobody's ever been promoted. It just was taken.
It just happened.
It just happened.
Because it was bronze for the longest. Steph just kind of said, okay, you're going to have to talk about me. You
right.
I'm in that conversation now.
It
just came about organically.
Yeah, with Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Kobe had it, but.
Was he ever the face? I know we're getting a little off topic. Was Kobe ever the face to y'all?
Hell yeah.
He was the face. Okay. He was the face. Now.
Hell yeah.
It seemed like maybe it was a short run, though.
It was a short run. No, he was the face.
It wasn't a short run.
How long was it?
It wasn't a short run.
It wasn't that long.
Kobe was the face.
It wasn't
right along all the way into bronze.
So 04, 05, 04 and 05 was out of the question for him because of the fucking allegations that was going on in Colorado.
That's what killed it for him. The NBA didn't really want it.
Yeah, regardless.
That's fact.
That's fact. That's fact.
The NBA didn't want it after that.
That's fact.
They didn't want to push him after that. You know what I'm saying?
And so he really, I don't think.
And not ever meeting Bron, I think, hurt too in the final.
Well, they pushed that narrative, but if you look at it, he really didn't get it back until he scored them 81 points against Toronto. That's when he started to gain the public trust back. That's when the NBA started to be like, okay, we can get over.
I don't think it was so much public trust. I think it was, that's just greatness. And we can't deny it.
We can't.
I don't think it was, I think the people who still hated him. But when you see somebody do something like that, it's like, damn.
I hated him. But I'm going to tell you when my hate started to turn around is when he started to get dogged out in the media because of the rape allegation.
Back to SGA, I look at it as right now he's on the precipice of taking it. I really do. I think he's
SGA.
If he win the final, you think he'd face the league?
I think no. Well, that remains to be seen. Because right now,
winning the championship, one championship to me, that's the same as the best player in the world conversation. It's the same. It's the exact same.
I'm not looking at it like that. What I am looking at it as, I'm looking at, okay, so the best player in the league right now, we say is the Joker.
Right.
We say SGA is looking to overtake the Joker.
That's what I said. I said he could possibly overtake.
As the best player?
As the best.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, because his game.
I don't give a damn he win this final. He ain't
not if he win it. No, he got to put a couple of these together.
Okay.
Okay. He got to put a couple of these together.
I thought you were talking about based on this. All right.
Even if he win the championship this year, he's not passing
Joker.
He's building that resume.
Right.
Because I look at his team. You know, Joker lifted a team that had borderline all-star in Aaron Gordon, who had never made an all-star team.
Jamal Murray.
There was nobody else. Jamal Murray has never made an all-star
team. I'm saying borderline all-star.
So borderline. So although he had an all-star this year, Jalen hasn't convinced me that he's a Scottie Pippen or a Dwayne Wade or John Havlicek. He hadn't proved that to me. Yeah, I hadn't looked at him as that type of player. He's still,
fair.
You know, I don't look at him and say, like when the Bulls played, we looked at Mike gonna get his and Pippen gonna get his. I don't look at that in Jalen. I look at Jalen as still trying to help.
Jalen Brown.
Okay, so he's coming. As far as who's the best player, who's the face of the league. We all agree that Bron and Steph Curry are still the face of the league.
Last night you didn't.
What you mean? I said Steph.
And
y'all said LeBron. So Steph and LeBron. Yeah. Y'all said LeBron. I said Steph.
No, I said Steph and Bron.
I said you didn't.
I did what?
You didn't say Steph and Bron.
I said Steph. And y'all said Steph and Bron, so we got Steph and Bron out of the face.
You said Steph. We said Steph and Bron.
Right.
Okay. So
Bron and Steph, because LeBron is still the torchbearer.
So the faces of today's league.
Say it with your chest.
Steph and LeBron.
No.
Or
say it right.
Bron and Steph.
Right,
however you want to put it. Whichever way you want to put it. Even though Bron was second team All NBA with negative 54 plus minus and negative 41 in the playoffs. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But those are the faces of the league. Now, who's going to take the face of the league?
Who does a plus minus
over that?
Who does that?
It was just shocking. It was just shocking to see. I heard it on the Odd Couple, and I was like, "Really? That's impressive." But anyway, so who's next in line?
The NBA all NBA Dante. What you think? Just off the top.
I thought it was going to be third team, but he deserved to make one of the teams. I thought it was going to be third team, but yeah, he deserved it.
If he was
based on his play,
if he was going to make it, it would have been third team for me.
He deserved it though.
They shitted on Cunningham because Cunningham should have been on second team over Steph Curry anyway. So they messed that up, messed up his money in that way. So if you were going to have
just making a team gets you. The only one who got money got messed up was your boy in Memphis. He didn't make either team. So that if you make any of those teams, you get a max. JJ.
If
you make any of the teams, you get a max. He missed it by one vote. your boy in Memphis. So that cost him like $300 million.
But no, but the higher you go, the more
Just got to make it.
Oh,
just got to make
well,
it.
that's messed up on the NBA part. They
Just got to make
money
it.
then. That's messed up.
Just got to make it.
They need to tier that. I would definitely tier that.
All
That's
NBA,
crazy.
you good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
JJ, the only one got cost money that really had a chance at a max, so it cost him.
That's crazy
$300 million.
because even if you look at it as these are the top 15 in the league, there's still levels.
Levels to it.
You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with you.
That's
But
bad on their part. But so back to my
smart
point.
on the players though.
So if we're looking at it as Bron and Curry are the faces of the league, then in order to look at who is up for next, that's when you go to, okay, now who's the best players in the league? That's when you start counting.
Joker don't want it.
Joker.
He don't really want it, so it'll never be him.
You're going to go SGA after that. You're going to go Giannis, who's still up there, one of the best players in the league. Right after Giannis, who you looking at as far as best players in the league right now?
Gotta go Tatum.
See? Tatum. And then when you think of, so let's just stop right there. So if you look at those four players, which one of them is going to take it over? We know it ain't Jason Tatum because he's 2 years away from coming back.
All right.
Giannis still hadn't developed a soundproof game.
And if he was going to be it, he would be it.
He would have been it already.
He would be it already.
His
That's
numbers,
just right. His numbers have not tailed off for real.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They were as good this year as his MVP season.
The Joker keeps hitting milestones and record books, but I think, like you said, because basketball does not appear the end all be all for him. It's hard.
His
to
country is definitely more important to him than America.
Exactly. And then now we left with SGA
and Ant, which is why they pushing Ant so hard. Because that's all you got left at this point. You know what I'm saying? There is no one else.
Ant is way off.
Other than
Ant is way off. Wemby.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wemby want it. You know what I'm saying?
He wants it.
Wemby wants it.
It's just a matter of can he take it.
They're going to have to win.
That's why they're going to do something major to get him on a winning track immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Because Fox ain't it.
I agree. Fox alone is not it. I agree with you on that. But I think it's a good first step if they can add a Giannis or something.
Because to me, when you bring on Fox and you're trying to pair him with the new kid, Castle can. I already expect a setback with Castle because Fox is not the type of player that makes people better around him. He's just not. He's just not that type of cat. So I think
he's an upgrade over what they had. He's an upgrade over what they had. They need Giannis or somebody. They're gonna have to make a move. They got to go all in on Giannis. They have to. It ain't no way around it. For him to be the face of the league.
Giannis with the Bucks next year.
You think Giannis with the
Spurs
can win a championship?
I want to see
they
it.
Would need another.
This summer
they would need another
interesting.
wing. They need another wing player. But him with another wing player, yeah, they can win.
I don't think
because I think it's enough defense. They're gonna play a whole hell of a lot of defense.
The summer gonna be very interesting.
Giannis would insist on being
playing that downhill, having the ball all the time.
He would. That's his style of play. I think we're looking at him going to. Honestly, I've been looking at I think we're looking at Miami.
I'm gonna tell you.
Why everybody always bring Miami up?
I think
before we go to break,
they don't have anybody.
Before we go to break, I do want to say this about the face of the league, and I'm hoping, beyond hope, that he does the right things to get himself back in the conversation. Fucking Ja.
He was there.
He had it.
He gave
in the palm of his.
I don't think he can get it back.
I don't either.
I don't think he can get it back.
He need to get with Clutch. They need to redo his image.
Got to. He don't seem to want to change it though.
He's going the opposite direction.
He don't seem to want to change it.
He fully embraced Memphis street culture way too much. And he hadn't stopped. That's the problem. He hadn't stopped.
Right.
He went from the pictures of, having pistols and clubbing and all that to he upgraded to mouthpiece. He walk around with the diamonds.
You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do this. Okay, well I'm gonna throw grenades.
Right.
He don't want it. He don't want it.
He one of these silly young dudes.
He and his father.
And it's so disappointing.
Because he had it. It was
just of trying to.
The NBA was serving him up to everybody. Like, okay, he next. You know what I'm saying?
And I was gonna be a Memphis fan.
The
I wanted to be a Memphis fan. I'm like, okay, I'm right up the road, 3 hours away from Memphis. I can go to a couple of home games.
Look at his
I went and seen him play the Lakers a couple years ago.
Look at his game. Look at his games played. Look at his physique. He ain't worked out none. His jumper still ass. He don't want it. He don't want it, man.
I don't think he can be happy.
He want the money.
He would rather
want the lifestyle.
He would rather be the Allen Iverson. He would rather be Allen Iverson in our eyes than put the time and necessary professionalism into being the one. And it's a lot of players like that. Ant is like that. He don't want. He said it out of his mouth. No, y'all get at the Wemby. He said it. He said it right after people were saying Michael Jordan comparisons in his game and blah, blah, blah. He actually literally said he don't want to be the face of the league. I don't want it. Okay.
I mean, I think a lot of leagues like that, it come with scrutiny that they just don't want to have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? They don't like being criticized. You know what I'm saying?
It comes with a lot of scrutiny.
It's a lot of scrutiny. They don't like being criticized. They are of a generation where they don't like being criticized for real. You know what I'm saying? They're sensitive to it. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, Jesus Christ.
It's just
I ain't never seen.
What are you talking about, man?
When you start talking about criticism and they don't like to be criticized, that's the high on the list. KD and Bron.
KD,
and I'm fine with KD firing back at people. I'm cool with that part of it.
And KD just fired back.
Odd to me that you would care so much about it. But it's odd to me. But I don't.
So why you
I don't knock him for firing back?
Criticized from day one. What are you talking about? And he firing back on who?
He's finally starting to get on the mic. He's finally started to get on the mic and show that he hears the criticisms. He's done it all. He said.
I think now he's gone. He's turned toward legacy mode. Though,
listen, man,
where protect the legacy. That's different.
That's different.
That's much different. Protecting the legacy.
That's much different. You can't group him in sensitive to criticism conversation.
He's always had something to come back and say on it.
Nah, that's whack.
I feel like I'm chasing a ghost and all this stuff. He's always heard it.
But that's to me. Even that comment's about legacy, though.
Yeah, everybody.
It's about crafting his legacy.
We have on video Mike going back because of the criticism and him singling dudes out to not even fucking talk with them, to not even let them be in his orbit because of him being criticized. Stop it.
What are you talking about?
Stop it. And it's a different time. It's not even the same. It's not even the same.
Don't just put the firecracker out.
Will Jones remember seeing that video. I posted it in the group when Mike was going back at a reporter stating that you always got something to say. Then let's talk about him with him and Charles Barkley. You know what I'm saying? Ended a whole friendship. Me and you boys now. And then he get on, do his job on TNT and call you a shitty owner, which you were.
Why did he do that? See, that's
what do you mean? What do you?
See, you just putting out the aesthetics out there. The reason he did that is because Barkley's take implicated his family. Hold up, let me finish. Let me finish.
Did somebody say family?
Let me finish. It
somebody say family?
His family because he had his family. Because he had family. He had I think his brother or somebody.
Man, we got to go to break.
Staff. So
we got to go to break. This will get into the
whole.
You can't put Bron into the to the sensitive to criticism because he's done dealt with it for 23 years in a much more hyper analyzed.
They defend this dude so much.
You.
All right, let's go.
We gotta take a quick break, man. Gotta pay some bills. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back after these.
Don't forget that subscribe button.